Colin Powell, former U.S. Secretary of State, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has passed away this morning due to complications from COVID-19. Again, we want to reiterate the fact that he was fully vaccinated, but being 84 years old, could have possibly been high risk. We want to thank the medical staff at Walter Reed National Medical Center, say the family, for their caring treatment of our father, our grandfather, a loving husband, and a great American. This is what the family is saying. Colin Powell, the first black U.S. Secretary of State. His leadership in several Republican administrations helped shape American foreign policy over the years. I mean, really, he's someone who is incomparable to our history, and obviously, though, had enough controversy for a lifetime as well. So Nick Smith is here joining us, a veteran himself.
Yeah. You know, Adrian, I think it's one of those things, it just shocks you, right? And it's hard because I think that his legacy, so much of what General Powell just meant to so many African Americans.
Absolutely.
I'm just very comfortable saying that. He's one of those central figures that many of us who have served, we looked up to. We thought about his service. We think about his service. Our deepest sympathies definitely go out to his family and those who served under his command. But you just think about his place in history, and you think about if, regardless of where your politics may have stood, I think that we can all respect and appreciate his service to country. And I think that we should all just be mindful of moments like this, of the men and women who serve, you know?
Yes, absolutely. And again, some of his decision making was questioned over the course of his time as the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, as Secretary of State. But this is not the time to get into those debates.
Right.
This is a time to honor his life. Obviously, his family grieving, like so many in this country, having had complications with their health due to COVID-19 and this terrible pandemic.
And I think we can also recognize, too, we were talking about his legacy. I think that I can expect that the Bush family will have a lot to say because he was extremely close to not only former President Bush, but he was also extremely close to Condoleezza Rice. There was again, a chemistry and just a sense of camaraderie amongst that administration that worked. And again, there will be the historians to debate his legacy and his role in the policy making. But I think that what we cannot deny is the fact that Colin Powell is definitely a figure of history, a part of the American fabric, and I think that it's a story and a legacy that's worth telling and remembering and honoring.
Yeah, and again, a big surprise to those of us who know and were around when he was part of the administration and actually making decisions that affected not just American history, but world history. Again, a figure that will be in the history books and children will learn more and more about, sadly, passing away at the age of 84. His family certainly rocked by this. I would think that there are a lot of politicians. You mentioned the Bush family and they're closest to him, but I think a lot of people are going to be speaking out today. We'll no doubt hear from President Biden, I'm sure very shortly here, because he was a very important figure, not just in a military sense.
Absolutely.
But for many reasons, including those that you've mentioned, as a role model.
That, Adrian, and we can't ignore that this also falls under the veil of the vaccine and everything that's happening right now, right? Yeah. So this further calls into so many people's minds the fear around the vaccine and not being vaccinated and what vaccination actually means. And, we do know that according to his family that, Mr. Powell was indeed vaccinated, you know. So there will be those who will have questions about that. I know that we'll have an opportunity to speak with medical experts about what all that means as well. Yeah. But there are just so many questions around all of this, and I think many are just reeling from the shock of it all right now.
Right. 84 years old, Colin Powell passing away due to complications from COVID-19.